Welcome into Scoop City. James Palmer with you alongside senior NFL insider for The Athletic, Dianna Russini. And we were recording, Dianna, an episode of Scoop City this morning. We recorded right after Terry McLaurin ended his hold-in, and we'll get to that in a moment. But Trey Hendrickson and the Cincinnati Bengals come to an agreement. You had the news. He is now, I believe, putting pen to paper. You might have more details on that, but we expect him week 1 to be on the field. Yes. What got this done?
Yes. It is a busy Monday of news for these hold-ins, holdouts, and however we want to call it, the summer of everyone wanting to get paid. And Trey Hendrickson is now going to get paid on a 1-year, $30 million guaranteed deal. He'll be an unrestricted free agent here at the end of this season. So let's just go back real quick, right? Remember, these two sides, they thought they were moving in a good direction right before the start of camp. He was expected to show up when the veterans were there to report, and then everything fell through because of that second year. The guaranteed money he was looking for was not there in the offer. Mm-hmm. So the Cincinnati Bengals originally offered 3 years, $95 million, and Hendrickson and his camp decided to walk away from that. And they've spent the last few weeks, and from what I was told this morning, really hammering this out. Monday morning, it finally all came together around 5:15 Eastern, where they made the decision, this is it. We'll take the $30 million guaranteed on the 1 year, and we will hit the free agent market when this season's up. And so papers are signed. He's expected to be at practice on Tuesday with his team. And this ends what I think was probably something pretty distracting for a defense that certainly needs a guy like Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, if you watched any of these preseason games, and we have, they're in desperate need of Trey Hendrickson. To put it a little bit clearer for you, Dianna, 36 sacks for the Cincinnati Bengals a season ago, tied for 25th in the NFL. Trey Hendrickson had 17 and a half of those, so that's about 46%, the highest percentage of sacks by one player on one team in the NFL. He are in desperate need of his services as part of this defense that is now under Al Golden. Now, you mentioned that contract, and I want to dig further into that, the 3 years for 95. Now, to clarify, you're stating that it did not have guarantees, though, past the first year.
Correct. So they were really looking for the first 2 years to be guaranteed. In fact, they would have liked it all to be guaranteed, obviously. But they were just really trying to meet halfway there, give us the next 2 years guaranteed. And the Bengals were not comfortable doing that, which is why they were able to do this. Now, while this was all happening, I was getting texts from other organizations about other moves that were happening. And I was just communicating, like working on this trade deal right now. And I got to tell you, some reaction was surprised. A lot of people were shocked he took a 1-year deal.
It's another Band-Aid. It is another Band-Aid in Cincinnati with him.
Which is what it's really been with him. I feel like contract after contract has just been these little Band-Aids, as you put it. Which, by the way, can you tell I had a coffee right when this was all happening?
Yeah, you're jacked. Let's go.
You know what it was? It just was all coming in hot. And look, there were definitely some vibes, we'll call it, over the weekend that something was going to, happen here. Trey has been very open with us here on Scoop City with where things stand, and very open about wanting to play and be out on the field. And I truly believe that he wanted to go about this with the smallest amount of attention he could possibly get, and really try to make it about his teammates. And he was emphatic about it, actually, almost obsessive about making sure the world knew he just wants to play football. But he understands this business, and he just wanted to be respected. And so here we are now. And I can tell you they are relieved. And some of the message from people that are close to him said, just over text, it's now time to get back to what we love. So we'll see how much better this Bengals defense will be now that they got their star. What's Joe Burrow doing right now?
He's got to be ecstatic, but he does know this is probably for 1 year. We won't get past 2025 right now. He will be a free agent in 2026. We'll see what ends up happening. They could tag him if they wanted to, Dianna, because remember, there was talk, and correct me if I'm wrong, that this was going to be potentially a contract that would put him close to the top of the edge rusher Not at the top, not at the the very tippy top of it, but close to the top of the edge rusher market. The years were kind of agreed upon, but the guarantees were really the thing that always held this thing up. It really seemed to be the sticking point, and it was something that they broke in terms of their precedent for Joe Burrow. They broke in terms of their precedent for Jamar Chase. They did not for T. Higgins. They would not budge on this deal with Trey Hendrickson furthering the guarantees. So it is a 1 year, and I would like to see what Joe Burrow looks like, because they do not have the same Super Bowl pedigree that they believe they have in Cincinnati without Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah. I am interested to see what's actually in the contract, like the details of whether or not the Bengals will have the ability to tag him, because as we know, some players are able to get that removed. So that'll be the next layer to this that we'll dig on. But look, do I think that Trey Hendrickson and his family probably were hoping to stay a Cincinnati Bengal for a long time on a secure deal? Yeah, I never got the sense that they wanted to play anywhere else. In fact, when he spoke to us, he said it. He's like, I want to be here, right? Whereas we're seeing a lot of situations in these hold-ins and holdouts where, Micah Parsons is like, I don't want to be a Dallas Cowboy. Like, get me out of here. I don't want to be here. That was never it. And I never believed that Trey was going to leave. It just, I wasn't certain the Bengals were going to be able to agree to a 1 year. I always thought that they were looking for something that was longer, and obviously at a lower price. But now,
on their terms.
And on their terms. Now, what, a $14 million pay raise for him? Not bad for Trey Hendrickson here. As look, he gets another opportunity. He has another sensational year, and we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see what ends up happening after this season. We could once again be in the situation with Trey Hendrickson again, Dianna. You could be working the phones with Trey once again and having these conversations with him once again next offseason, because this all stems back to when he originally arrived in Cincinnati and has been one of the best pass rushers in the NFL since he arrived, but it was on a COVID discount type of free agency market that they were operating in, and he's been trying to get that extra guaranteed money. He does line his pockets with an extra $14 million, which is outstanding. Anything else on this before we get back to our regularly scheduled program?
Your move, Jerry Jones. Your move, right?
All
let's
eyes
see.
on you.
If we get, a triple header on this, and we're coming back later tonight to do another version of, we should definitely keep this one in, but come back and just do 3 editions of one show.
Yeah.
Which is
good luck. We love you, Mac. Keep editing, keep working, keep grinding. Here's your regularly scheduled scoop today.
Like, if I smile, the New York Post back page tomorrow is going to be bright light, big city, Jaxson Dart, Dable nails it, whatever. Gosh, don't ever let me write a headline, but
that's a great headline.
Yeah. You're like Michael Scott, like a 98-word headline on a newspaper. Never mind. Welcome back in on a Monday to Scoop City. I'm James Palmer. We have a deal done in D.C. Does that mean a couple of the other hold-ins? Trey Hendrickson, Micah Parsons, are those getting done? We will find out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I am joined, as always, on a Monday by 14-year NFL vet Jayden Daniel. We also have senior NFL insider Dianna Russini. Hello, people. We have news. Let's do it. Let's dive in. How we doing?
Good. News. Let's go.
On a Monday.
Big news.
News on a Monday. News team assemble. Here's what we're going to be talking about throughout the course of the show, though. Shedeur Sanders. We have a sabotage. Call the Beastie Boys. What's happening in the quarterback room in the Cleveland Browns situation. Also, we are going to talk about Terry McLaurin. I just teased it right there. And also Micah Parsons. What's happening there? What's happening as he sleeps through a third preseason game? Dianna, you had the news this morning about the contract extension for Terry McLaurin. You've been all over this. You were boots on the ground in Washington a couple of days ago. We'll get to what Jayden Daniels kind of maybe predicted to you. I don't know, but give us the details of Terry McLaurin's contract extension.
Well, he gets his contract extension, 3 years, $96 million. So that's just about $1 million short of DK Metcalf's APY. But look at it this way in terms of the actual contract length. If you look at DK, he's tied up there for 4 years. So now the Commanders have 1 less year. So I guess that's where they kind of met in the middle here. So this deal came together Just around 11 a.m. Eastern is when they finally agreed to this. And guys, we've been talking about it so much on this show for the last few months, actually, knowing that the conversations between Terry's camp and the Washington Commanders began back at the Combine. And this just seems like it was harder than it probably had to be. And I'm sure we'll get into the dissection of maybe this could have just been done a little sooner. But we know that Terry was shooting for the moon right out of the gate. Their asking price initially was somewhere around 41 billion a year.
Whoa.
And, now they land, here in the low 30s. And look, that's what a negotiation is, right? You ask for top money, and you hope to get somewhere. And obviously the Washington Commanders didn't believe that he was worth at the top of the market, but they were able to come to an agreement, which from what I can gather, talking to both sides of this, everyone seems just absolutely thrilled that this was ironed out and agreed to.
Do we know the guaranteed money at all? Because just looking at it right now, I mean, $32 million a year. and we'll see the contract once it comes out. And so that seems like an overwhelming victory for the camp of Scary Terry, because a lot of people maybe in the league, a lot of people out there didn't think he'd at least get 30. I was of the camp, just want to say it. He deserves that type of money. He's number one receiver. Do we have anything on guaranteed double pat on the back money at all?
Okay, you're adorable that you're giving yourself credit. I think everyone on the planet understood or felt that Terry was worth the money for what he's done, but that's not what this is about. It's not about what he's done, which is what Washington was standing on. Are those, early 30 years going to catch up to him, despite the fact that he's been fantastic and he hasn't been injured and he's been on the field a lot. In terms of how they got here eventually, I can tell you that Washington was very concerned about what this offense looked like. James, you pointed to it last week when we discussed this, right? Yeah. This is not the same offense without Terry. And they saw what you saw. They saw what I saw. They saw what the world saw. So it wasn't really rocket science that they needed to probably give. And Chase, to your point, you are right. Many people around the league, we discussed on this show, did not believe that Terry was actually going to get more than 30 APY. Most saw him in that 27, 28, even $29 million range. And I reached out to a few people around the league here, just some decision makers, and I'm getting a lot of the same response. Washington caved, right? Washington gave in here. And look, there was some give on both sides, but I do think in the end, Terry got the number that I think they knew they would wind up getting. So certainly a big win for McLaurin and his camp.
Yeah, huge win for his camp, but not
and for
like
Jayden.
Back to my original point. Yeah, for Jayden Daniels too, that helps to have a quarter. Not to that, yes, it's what Terry has meant to the organization and what he has done. I know everyone thought he was worth that much money, but it's also what he means to the offense. You can't tell me that you're not going to go out there 2 or 3 weeks before and not have your number one receiver. Who are they going to rely on? Deebo Samuel, who's a gadget guy, or Zach Ertz, who I love to death, but is 30-something years old? He is a bona fide number one there. So to have him locked in at, I don't know, where does he rank in the NFL? 7th, 8th in terms of API 6, whatever it is.
There were 9, I think, at 30 or more.
So 9. To have him in that conversation, it's absolutely part of Cliff Kingsbury's offense. And we heard Cliff Kingsbury talk like, hey, man, it's out of my head. Like, he was pissed that it wasn't done yet. Now we talk about, can you get in shape fast enough on field to have a full set of plays, because he's a guy that never comes off the field, right? And I'm guessing they're probably going to limit his plays. And when I say limit, I'm saying like, hey, maybe you're not out there 65 snaps a game, maybe you're out there 50. But you don't want to have a situation where you're pushing them full out and it's hot and you knock on wood, get injured or anything like that. So that's what I'm looking at on like, hey, how is that situation going to play out? Because football shape's way different than practice shape or training camp shape. It is like balls to the walls for 75 plays on offense.
Yeah, I think Chase. This is off the top of my head because I looked at it maybe a week ago. I think he's like an 85% of their snaps type of guy on the outside. I think it's up there, and he's played above at that 90 rate certain games last season. I think as we pat each other on the back, I do want to say I think I pushed this over the goal line because I put a tweet out this morning. This is my Chase Daniel. I put a tweet out this morning that after Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown, the second highest passer rating from quarterback to wide receiver in the NFL. Jayden Daniels to Terry McLaurin. Third, by the way, just to let you know if you didn't follow me on Twitter, was Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. I mean, the connection is there. The trust factor, I think, is there, Chase. I'm curious, is this something to where a receiver and a quarterback, are the two of them spending evenings in an indoor facility throwing together? Do you think they found ways to continue to work out while Terry's not out at practice?
You know, that's a great question. I don't think if Terry was that dug in, like Dianna was saying and you guys were saying, I don't know if he actually even took a rep with Jayden Daniels.
Like on their
honestly,
own?
Because during training camp, it's interesting because there's not a lot of downtime. There's not a lot of time, hey, let's go throw, let's go do that. Jayden had already practiced. You're in meetings constantly. It's just mentally it's an overload. Now I'd imagine in these next 2 weeks, there will be some on their own sessions. There will be, hey, let's just get ramped back up. Even if it's 10 throws to the left, 10 throws to the right. All right, that's day one. I'm sure there will be a protocol to get him back up into game shape, but also like running with pads on and running with helmets on and running with full, that's a different animal than just out there throwing with Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, listen, you can wear a helmet and pads while you work out. I went to Johnny Manziel's pro day. I want to ask you this, Dianna, which was the strangest thing ever. I just had to throw that in there. Wearing a guy shoulder pads and a helmet in his pro day was wild.
It was a great pull by you.
I remember it was the weirdest pro day I've ever been to. Bush showed up in a golf cart. There was a DJ. It was crazy. Chase hinted at this, Dianna, about what he's done in the past, right? That's 2 owners, 4 head coaches, 4 offensive coordinators, 11 quarterbacks, and consistent production. And then you saw what he does. That's a franchise record with 13 touchdowns for the first time when he's playing with a legitimate kind of franchise-type quarterback. What he's done, in the future is maybe a little of the concern now that he's getting into his 30s. I think a lot of people you and I have talked to around the league believe his game translates into the 30s just by the way he plays it. But the way this went about between the two sides, and Terry pulled every lever you could imagine in trying to get a deal done, right? Sat out the offseason workouts. He held out. He voiced his opinion to the media publicly. Then he held in. Then he requested a trade. I'm not sure what else you can do from a player's stance of trying to get the deal done. With his reputation that I'm getting at in that building, was there ever a fear in your mind maybe that the locker room was looking at this going, this is our new general manager who we're trying to see how he does business in Adam Peters, and we're kind of keeping an eye on this deal as well because this is kind of the face of our franchise through a lot of downs and very few ups. Yeah,
so while you don't want to talk to the people involved when they're joining you on Scoop City like they did Dan Quinn and Jayden and Zach Ertz, and dig into have you soured on this organization now that the best player, at least in terms of character and all around outside Jayden, isn't getting what he wants? No, but I will say this, and look, you can listen back to some of the interviews that we have posted over on our YouTube channel, and we may drop in some here. You can hear that no one's worried about it. Like there must have been a conversation between the front office and Jayden, and obviously with Dan Quinn, that said, look, we've got a deadline to try to make this negotiation work. And if there's still not enough movement on their end, we will give because we need him that badly. Yeah. Like they were way too calm for me. Like even when I was messaging with you guys after my trip, I'm like, this is getting done. Even just talking to people around the league who had called Washington interests, showing their interest in Terry, from even weeks ago. It was always the same thing, which is they're not trading Terry. No. It's just trying to find a number that everyone can be happy with, and obviously this is the one.
Ooh. Chase, that's kind of big to tell your quarterback going into year 2 if he's in those kind of conversations with the front office. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. First of all, it's a Jayden Daniel show over there, right? Like Jayden gets what Jayden wants, and if Jayden wants Scary Terry there for 3 years, I think it's a smart deal. Like the 3-year, I know Dianna, you hit on it and we moved on, but what you said was super smart because the 3-year versus 4-year, right? You get them possibly back to the market at age 33. Now that's getting up there in age, but like the dude, from everything on the film that I'm seeing, he really hasn't slowed down from when he was 27, 28, and he takes really good care of his body. Like he's such a, and this goes unnoticed a lot, right? Because we're so fixated on the production on the field and how does he look with Jayden Daniels and how does he look in Cliff Kingsbury's offense for right measure. But the biggest thing for me is like, what does he mean to that locker room? Like he is the leader of the offense. Like him, Zach Ertz, Jayden Daniels, Bobby Wagner. Like those are the four main guys. And then you can imagine like the celebration that's going on in Washington Commanders locker room right now for Scary Terry, because he's been through it all and just what he means to that locker room. Like I've been a part of those before, and it's just like, yeah, you got your deal. Like dinner for the next 2 years is purely on Scary Terry. Like that is it.
Guys,
like it's such a
we saw it in
cool
Denver.
dynamic.
We saw it in Denver. Remember the three of
Yeah.
us are having lunch
In the cafeteria.
in Denver? Cortland Sutton gets his deal done, right, Diana? Everybody's just high-fiving him. It's a cool thing to see. Chase has seen it, Diana. We got a chance to see it.
James, why don't we play a little bit of the Jayden Daniels interview, and you can hear the importance of Terry, how he felt about it, and really the direction of this offense with Cliff Kingsbury in their second year together.
How do you gauge what this offense is going to be when we know that you've been missing your big piece in Terry McLaurin? Like, how do you actually feel right now, just a few days out from the start of the year?
I'm excited. I think just the continuity that we have on the offense and another year in the system for a lot of guys. So we kind of know the little nuances of things and how Cliff's going to call stuff and like the continuity that we have on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm excited.
Everyone feels optimistic that Terry's coming back. I saw him out on the field. It just there's a feeling this is going to work out.
Yeah.
Do you still feel really good that you're going to get your guy?
Oh, 100%. I feel great.
Yeah.
I feel great.
Why do you feel so good about it?
I just know that it's all going to work out. That both sides are going to come to an agreement, and Terry's going to be back out here. We're going to be throwing some passes to him.
Diana, you saw it there. Jayden Daniels, not panicked. Just like the way he plays football. Under control. Completely in control and completely
Always
calm in the biggest moments. And now he has his guy. And now we see a team that honestly is, we know is all in with the deal with Laramie Tunsil and Marcus Lattimore coming over. And now you get this deal done with Terry McLaurin, all while you're on this rookie quarterback contract with Jayden Daniels. So this team let's see what they can do after an NFC championship game in year one for Jayden. Now we'll see what they do. And Terry has money in his pocket, and Mike is looking for a little more, and he hasn't gotten it. Let's get to Micah Parsons, people, as we saw him on a trainer's table. Not sure what you call it.
All the above.
All the above
makes sense.
Just kind of catching a couple of Z's or maybe finding his chi, eyes closed during that third preseason game. We still are
so
nowhere
weird,
between the Dallas Cowboys and one of the best players in the NFL, Diana. Is there any sort of movement, or could we predict any sort of direction this is possibly heading?
Oh, you thought that maybe there'd be some good movement on the contract after Jerry Jones's press tour with everybody? Did you think that maybe
What are we
that
doing?
You think that helped?
Is
the
there a
situation?
documentary to promote? Yeah, go ahead.
No, it hasn't. It is the exact same that we've been talking about for the last few weeks, which is that there has been no conversation about this contract since the conversation Micah had with Jerry Jones back in March. Until Jerry Jones wants to speak with Micah Parsons' agent, there's not going to be a contract discussion. Now, there have been conversations about, hey, if you guys want to trade him, I'm the agent. Let's do this. I will help facilitate this, because Micah Parsons has been very clear. He does not want to play for the Dallas Cowboys. But the Cowboys refuse to have any conversation with David Mulugeta. And because of that, this can't go in any direction. This can't move forward. So until Jerry wants to do that, and obviously you've seen all the interviews with Jerry at this point, right? And
Everyone.
bottom line, it's Micah Parsons is under contract, and the Dallas Cowboys hold all the leverage, unless Micah doesn't want to play.
Let me ask you this: Will Micah play this season without a readjusted contract?
I think he will.
They have not made that decision yet. So from what I gather, they have not even
Micah's
made any
camp.
decision if they're going to play or not. Look, if you're saying you don't want to be a Dallas Cowboy, you would think that that's going to be on the table in a strong way of him not playing, don't you think?
Well,
100%.
I do want to put it out there, Chase, before you answer, just so everybody listening knows. If he doesn't play this season, his contract tolls, and he essentially is back to where he was within his contract heading into the 2026 season.
Yeah, 100%. No, that's a great point. I just don't get it, and it's just like.
It's kind of the best answer I've heard anybody have about this so far.
Yeah,
I think it's probably the most normal answer you can have.
We talk about it all the time. And look, the Dallas Cowboys are a content machine. They consistently put out content. They have not consistently put out players and teams together that wins games, because it's been at least 30 years since they've reached the NFC Championship game. Multiple playoff wins, been forever. This should be like the easiest contract of all time to do. Micah, you're going to get paid $0.5 to $1 million more than the highest paid edge rusher right here. And guess what? In 3 years from now, it's going to look like a freaking bargain when the salary cap's at $400 million. So I know that Jerry wants to do this, and I know Jerry wants to do that. But like, it's starting to become a little bit of a joke. And they've always sort of been a joke, but like, they're a professional sports franchise. And I know people within the Dallas Cowboys. But when you have your star player on preseason laying down on a training table, like looking dejected, doesn't look interested, first of all, that's not great leadership at all. Like go support your young bucks that are playing.
That was just a quick.
I know what Micah said, but you still did it, Dianna. You still did it. Like, that's the thing. Like, I like that. And I'm not trying to get on Micah. He can do whatever the heck he wants, but like, it just doesn't bode well for you who has no leverage right now in the situation. Stand up, be a team dude, and he has been for all. But like, of course, the stuff gets clipped off.
He is there, honestly, Chase. You could say that for Micah, because remember,
he's under contract.
No.
He doesn't want to get fined.
With the fine, I'll say this, Dianna, real quick, with what Chase is saying. His fines can be, remember, with the new CBA, Trey Hendrickson, other guys, if they don't go to camp, their fines cannot be recouped. He's coming off a rookie contract. The fines that the Cowboys fine with can be recouped if he didn't want to be there. He could not be there, and then they get a deal done, and he gets, obviously, the money back in the fines. I get what you're saying. It seems like he actually, though, has been a bit of the bigger person in this. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would think so.
They've stayed pretty quiet, considering, right?
Very much so.
Even his agent we haven't seen any interviews yet, right? We haven't seen them go on the record to talk about what this negotiation has been like. We've just saw Micah's statement when he asked for a trade on August 1st of just, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. But I just feel like the way the Dallas Cowboys are treating him, it feels like he did something, right? Like it's like he was in jail or did something that caused him to be suspended, right? But when that's not the case at all. This is just a very hard stand they're taking. And I don't want to play translator.
Why are they taking such a hard stand?
I think Jerry wants to win this. I think he sees this as a business move that he has the leverage in.
Okay, if Jerry wanted to win it, Dianna, you could have got the second the season was over last season. You were eligible to re-up after your third year. You could have literally done it the day after the season and saved $6 million a season over 5 years. That's $30 million. If you want to win that, do it then. Make him the highest paid. That's why I don't think it's a want-to-win game, because he's losing money by the second. Like, I don't get it. And Micah,
why?
They're attention.
A content machine.
These are the things that I think matter. Honestly, Chase, I think you're right. And what you're saying goes against the history of the Cowboys, though. They waited on Dak, it cost them more money. They waited on CD, it cost them more money. They waited on Zeke, they waited on Zach Martin. The list goes on and on. And oftentimes, what do? We're going to offer you something very team-friendly very early on, and if you don't take that, we're probably not going to talk to you for an extended period of time. That's the way things have gone in Dallas for a number of years. Why can Jerry do that? Because he's a billionaire, and he's also the general manager. I think that's the other part in this negotiation that hasn't been talked about enough, which is the owner is doing the negotiation as the general manager. every other general manager in football, right, Chase, would be fearful of losing their job if you botch a contract like this.
Like Micah.
They would be fearful
So
of losing their job, and they'd be fearful of what the owner thinks of how they're conducting business as the general manager. The reason this is different is Jerry is both. So he doesn't really have to handle the negotiation the way most general managers in the league would. When you look at the two teams that have oftentimes tried to negotiate with players behind agents' backs, it's been the Patriots and it's been the Cowboys. The two teams that really have a different setup over the years, when Bill Belichick was also operating as kind of the czar as well as the head coach, those two kind of operated outside the lines. I think that's why this one is just, Dianna, kind of different because of the structure of the way everything is. And the last part is, Jerry thinks he's right. I think we all think he's wrong, and Jerry thinks he's right, that this was an agreement back in March.
Even the comment about in the negotiation, there's not 3 people in the room, there's 2. Even that so confused me, because it shouldn't be you and the player, it should be you and the agent, right?
Yes.
It should be 2.
Yes.
He just has the wrong 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we started season 2 of Scoop City, this was one of the first topics we discussed as this new team here. And if I recall, we all had the same tone, which was, this is Dallas, this is what they do, he's going to open his wallet, this deal's going to get done, Mike is going to be a Dallas Cowboy. And look, Jerry Jones told Stephen A. in that interview that Mike is going to be Dallas Cowboy, like for the next 3 years, essentially. Because they have that power. How do you guys actually feel about this? Not intel, just how do you feel? Like, I don't know.
Feel about what?
Do you think Mike is going to be there in Philadelphia?
Yes. Wait, what? Oh, you're saying. I was like, are you trading him?
Howie! Here comes Howie. Here comes Howie in the side door.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. I wouldn't put it past Howie. Do I think he'll be on the field in Philadelphia? Probably. Yeah.
All right. Well, our team behind the scenes, I want you guys to keep track. Chase said yes. James.
Why are you asking like this?
See, now
because
I'm thinking about this.
I can't answer it, but I'm curious because if I say it, people think I'm reporting it. I'm just curious what you guys think from just knowing as much as you know and having good opinions about it.
He's under contract.
It's still $24 million this year. I still think that's a lot of money. I do know also when he had the option during COVID to sit out, in college he sat out, and he was comfortable doing it. That's kind of in the back of my mind. But I feel like he would have more leverage, Dianna, if he decided to do this next year. Because he could play this year for the 24. Then they could tag him, right? And then he could just refuse to sign the tag.
And then he could tag him again.
I'm saying, but then he can sit out with no penalty. That's my point. My point is, if he was going to sit out, there's a greater chance, in my opinion, of him sitting out the 2026 season than 2025. Because if he's tagged after this season, he makes his 24. If he doesn't sign the tag, he's not under contract. So he can't be fined. He can't be losing game checks. Essentially, he would lose what he was scheduled to make on the tag, but he wouldn't lose any money.
2026 would be his 5th season on the 5th-year option, and then you can have him for 2 more years with it. I get what you're saying.
Not that I want to fall down the PR hole here of, okay, well, they did this move and now they'll do this move, but they've been pretty aggressive with Micah saying he doesn't want to be a Dallas Cowboy, yet we don't know if he's going to play or not. You know, like, don't you think if they really were all out, they'd say right now, we're not playing week one, let it, like, put it out there.
Micah
I just think that's an interesting...
I mean, like, for everything that I
think he loves football.
For the tangent that I went on, he loves football, and he's a really good player, and he wants to play the game, but there's a business aspect of it that, man, you got to get your money.
Before we wrap this up, Dianna, I think Jace is right, but what's the perception? I think you can say this. What's the perception around the league from other teams in terms of a possible trade? Do they realistically believe that he's available via trade right now? Because every team should be interested. But do teams really think he's going to be traded?
I think teams around the league are waiting for Dallas to have a serious conversation with Jerry, that they have to have a conversation and a discussion about what a trade would look like. Like, I don't think it's gotten to the point where teams are calling Dallas going, all right, here's what's on the table. Here's what we could do. because Jerry hasn't made a decision on what he would want a trade package to look like, because he hasn't been able to get his brain wrapped around the idea that he would do that, because he's not doing that in his mind. So until the Cowboys, and think about if you're in that front office and you're thinking about the future of this team, and you're maybe even foreshadowing what you just talked about next season, you may be open, or maybe even be your job to think like that, right? To go, okay, well, if we do trade him, here's what we could get, and maybe this could be good for us. But from what I can gather, that conversation hasn't been very realistic yet. That has not happened.
Okay, I get it. But also, I could look at it.
Okay, but what is it? Do we want to do? What does a trade package look like?
Well, I think it'd be. Yeah, I think. I mean, we're going to go to break here, but I think it'd be similar to the Khalil Mack deal. But I'm just curious. You're going to get draft picks. You're going to get 2 first-round picks. Essentially, you're going to rebuild. Does Jerry want to rebuild at 82 years old? I don't know. Well, we'll see. Coming up on Scoop City, we're going to get into the quarterbacks because we have Chase here on a Monday. Why wouldn't we talk Jaxson Dart? It's kind of been his darling along with Jarrett Stidham throughout all of preseason, as well as Shedeur Sanders in that Browns quarterback room. What's happening there? We'll break it all down next. All right, welcome back to Scoop City. The Cleveland Browns have released a quarterback, Snoop Huntley. Yes, they still have 4 other quarterbacks, and 5, I guess, if you count Deshaun Watson still. But they are planning, it seems, to go into this season with 4 quarterbacks. That's Joe Flacco, that's Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, all of them hanging out. Now, there have been some narratives that have surrounded this quarterback battle.
Sabotage.
Yes. Sabotage. It was brought up by Mary Kay Cabot, that covers this team on a daily basis brilliantly. She asked it to Kevin Stefanski after the 3rd preseason game. Here it is.
Can you address this sort of persistent narrative that you're trying to sabotage Shedeur Sanders, especially after yesterday and not putting him in for the 2-minute?
Yeah, obviously, I don't concern myself with outside type of things. But I'm committed to his development, just like all of our rookies. So we'll continue to focus on getting our guys better. And that's what we'll stay committed to. And that's what's important to me.
If you gave Kevin Stefanski truth serum, what exactly would he say, Chase, to the question?
Well, first of all, I thought he handled it pretty nice.
He handled it
biting his
great.
lip during the question, but you could tell he was pissed that question was asked, first of all, but kept his calm, kept his cool. 2-time coach of the year. You got to be able to do everything, and then gave a beautiful answer. I thought it was great, and that's how head coaches should answer it. Now, does he feel that way? I don't know. He's a 4-string quarterback. Where is he at on the roster in terms of development? Man, we're trying to win games. We're trying not to get fired, right? Mm-hmm. The one thing that I hate more than anything, and I need to take a deep breath before I get into this.
I like the setup.
Yeah. Well, look, we're all football players. When I say we, I'm talking about the actual players out there, whether it's a team 1 through 53, 1 through 90, whatever it is. And we all get certain opportunities that a lot of other people don't get. And you get to play a game for a living professionally. I don't care if you played in 1 snap of a preseason game. I don't care if you're Drew Brees and you're all pro and Peyton Manning, all those guys. You get a really cool, special opportunity to play. And when you do play, and when you do put film out there, it should not matter, and it does not matter who you play with. I don't care if you're playing with 8-string offensive linemen who has gotten cut 50 times. I don't care if you're playing with the best left tackle in all the world. Your job, specifically as a quarterback, is to go out there and make the best of the opportunity that you have. And I say this and I preface this because a lot of people, and I'm sure we'll get into it, are saying, the Browns, they did this to Shedeur. They put him in a bad situation. They did You know how many 4-string quarterbacks are in bad situations time in and time again? I've been in those situations. I've been the 4-string quarterback. I've been the 3rd-string quarterback. And look, Shedeur didn't have his best game. So what? Why are we overreacting to something that was 20 plays long? Now, did I like his attitude on the sideline when he got pulled? No.
What do you mean?
No, but when the 2-minute drill was happening, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, as a competitor, you want to be out there. You want to be leading, and it's a way to be like, hey, let me get into a rhythm. But Stefanski put, Snoop in. And Stefanski put Snoop in because he knew he was getting cut.
There it is.
We knew that you were not keeping 5. We wanted to give Snoop Huntley the best chance to put some film out there. And what did he do? He went on a game-winning drive. This has nothing to do with you. And I think a more mature quarterback would understand that. Now, he's a rookie, right? I'm not trying to say he should. But that is the whole situation. But I can't stand, and I'm going to let you guys speak, I just can't stand the narrative a little bit of like, hey, they played him. Everyone plays behind bad offensive linemen. You have to understand that in some of these third preseason games, yes, you're not playing with guys on the roster. As a quarterback, get rid of the ball quicker. Like just know. I could be able to tell within the first 6 plays, oh man, it's one of these games. I got my first read and I need to throw it away. I got this and I'm going to try to make something happen. And Shador's going to learn, but let's just stop overreacting. Like, Shador's not going to be the starter right now. And he didn't play a great game. He played a great game in the first game, right? And he was hurt the second game. So it's one or the other. So it's just an interesting situation that the Browns have to face, because now you have your 4th-string quarterback taking up all the headlines on your team when all you're trying to do is win.
Your 4th-string quarterback and your 5th-round pick. So I don't think the Browns are treating him any different than
Good point.
they would if it was any other 5th-round pick, right? I think that's where we're forgetting, because I do think there was so much hype and excitement even after his first game that he played and even through the draft that, guys, we were talking on the show at some point that maybe the Giants were going to pick him in the 1st round, right? So I think a lot of people have a thought in their mind that he may be further along and better at the position than he just currently is. Yeah. And so you mix that with the way a professional football team handles the 4th-string quarterback, it then creates this problem that we have right now, which is people think that Kevin Stefanski and the Browns organization are holding him back. The Browns are the ones who drafted Shador after we found out.
Yes, who gave him a chance.
Nobody wanted to do it. Right? You had the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had every opportunity. This is Mike Tomlin.
All 32 teams had every
Mike
opportunity.
Tomlin, who
4 times over.
wants to win this year, right? This is pre Aaron Rodgers, all that stuff. Either way, he met with Shador and didn't draft him, right?
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns did. So I think we've got to give Kevin Stefanski an opportunity to try to help develop and get the best version of Shador here.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Before James jumps in, so as a 4th-string quarterback, first of all, I didn't do my research, but I'm almost certain that you can count on one hand the last 5 or 6 years how many teams have kept 4 quarterbacks the entire year. Most teams, I would say it's half and half, keep 2 on active roster, right?
Correct.
A reach to me is 3. 4 seems, I don't know, Diana, really highly unlikely the whole year. Yes, you might through the first few weeks, but what happens when there's injuries to your offensive line and you only have 7 offensive linemen? Well, somebody's getting the first person to go. The first person to go once it's like you are 53 if you're 4. You're the first person to go as soon as there's an injury and we need to sign someone else. How is this whole situation going to play out?
Yeah, the plan is to keep 4. That is what they want to do. Now, look, do I think the phone lines are open? I'm sure.
For who?
For the Browns. They're not going to not take calls, but they are planning on starting the season with 4. They've been really consistent with that throughout camp. But I think to your point, I do think it changes as we get into the season, right? And we see
100%.
how this shakes out. But I have a hard time believing that they're going to, do an about face here before week 1.
Yeah, This is fascinating. I think I said on a show last week where it's kind of like the Browns did this to themselves. They've put themselves in this situation. Is Kevin Stefanski having to deal with a boatload of, as he put it in the clip, outside noise than probably any other head coach has had to deal with a 4th-string quarterback? Yes. I learned for the first time, guys, and this weekend that head coaches call good plays for one quarterback and they call bad plays for another quarterback, which was cool to learn because I'm always growing in terms of what I learn about this league. I think with the 4 quarterbacks, Dianna, part of it hinges on the development of Dillon Gabriel, because I think he's pretty close to being able to be that backup quarterback. And Chase, that's where I want your opinion on where he's at, because from what my understanding is, he's understanding the speed of the NFL probably better than Shedeur is right now in terms of how he goes through it and the speed of what the defense plays and the speed in which he has to go through his progressions. Where does his development play into keeping these 4 quarterbacks where they're at? I think is a linchpin to it, because I think early in camp my understanding was they'd like to see Dillon Gabriel make some meaningful throws this season.
Dianna, jump in because you were going to say something.
I was actually just going to say, well, I think everyone is hinting at the same thing, which is they're trying to figure out who the backup quarterback's going to be, right? Kenny Pickett is still coming off injury here. So it's going to come down to probably Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And I think it's pretty clear that it's going to be Dillon Gabriel at this point, based on what we've seen and based on how they are listed on the depth chart.
So
I
then
think
where does
that's
Kenny Pickett
fair to say. And do you think, based on what you saw, Shedeur Sanders deserves to be the backup quarterback to Joe Flacco right now?
Dillon Gabriel should be the backup quarterback. If it's Dillon Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, just purely based on the games that they've played. Like when I watched Dillon, right, like the first game, and it was just, guys, they're rookies. It's very hard to play quarterback in the NFL. You're going to make mistakes. Pick 6, not great by Dillon Gabriel. That wasn't a great decision, right? We talked about it, right? Dirt it. The fumbled handoff wasn't great, right, between him and the running back. It's preseason. Make those mistakes. But when you watch Dillon Gabriel and you watch the processing and you watch the how quick the football comes out and goes to the right read, like he threw a sail route, a corner route, which is like like we call it flutie at the old New Orleans Saints. It's a post by the outside guy and a corner by the inside guy. He layered this throw like going to his left, like right over the flat defender jumping up before the corner falling off on the post. And Shedeur had some great throws too, but like that made me go like, oh, okay. And I just feel like, to your point, James, he is playing a little bit faster. He's seeing things a little bit. And that's something you're going to get with Dillon, I think. And that's something that I really liked him at Oregon. The ball's coming out quickly. First progression, second progression. That's about it. Now, he can make some plays outside the pocket. I think Shedeur really showed in his first game, hey, if stuff's breaking down, not there, I can move. But I really like how Dillon, for the most part, has protected the football and has made really good throws. I mean, the 2-minute drive this last game, that in the first half, that should tell you all you need to know if you're Kevin Stefanski. Like, that's probably the hardest thing to do as a quarterback, is to lead a 2-minute drill when you need points at the end of the half or the end of the game, because there's a lot of pressure on you. You're playing fast. You're just reacting. And Dillon looked really good.
So, James, you didn't know this, but when Scoop City started, Tom Brady was begging to be my co-host. And I was like, I don't want someone that has all these Super Bowl rings and all this experience and a future Hall of Famer. I need someone who's been in the room, someone who's been a fourth stringer. I want the juice from the backups, because this tells the story, Chase. But the thing is, like, I'm listening to you, and it just makes so much sense. And it's great to just put it through the prism of what it is like for a rookie quarterback when it looks so easy for us sitting on our couches, taking in a preseason action.
I don't think Tom would have been a Chase Daniel in Scoop City, but I don't know. I don't think
well, you got KOC wanting my job, and now Tom Brady. Man, I got lucky.
So I feel like I have to clarify. I'll probably get aggregated. Russini turns down Tom Brady.
But I do think, and it's funny, Dianna, you bring that up, because that plays a part in this, right? Why you're keeping 4 quarterbacks. The last thing teams want, we talked about this with Anthony Richardson, who's picked at the top of the draft, or Shedeur Sanders, who's picked in the 5th round. You don't want a guy to leave your building and then go find success somewhere else in the most important position in all of sports. True. So there is a thought of how can he develop and how can he grow. But Chase, you mentioned being that 4th string. You've mentioned being that 3rd string. You know what it's like in the quarterback room. Almost every head coach, I would think, and tell me if there's one that's different, to a T, likes their backups to blend in with the rest of the locker room. They don't do interviews unless they're taking over the starting job for that week because your starter's injured. Or maybe they filled in the back end because your starter went down, and then you're talking to them post-game in the locker room. You don't hear from them. You don't see them. What you see them do is dominate Monday through Saturday in the meeting room and on the practice field in terms of helping the starter get ready and helping the rest of the team get ready. However you want to slice the celebrityism of Shedeur Sanders, that doesn't, I mean, whether you like it or not, fit the mold of a backup quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why, like, once he got past round 3 or 4, teams are like, all right, now he's in backup territory. Like, do we want to back up with? And it's not Shadeur's fault. Like, the celebrity status and the cult following
it's just
that he has. I mean,
Tebow-esque. Remember with Tebow?
Yeah,
I think
100%.
everyone was like,
there.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
I think as a backup too, James, you have to have a servant heart a little bit, and not saying Shedeur doesn't, because Shedeur, at least in the interviews,
just the nature
has
of the
said like
position.
all the right things. It's just really the nature of the position for any quarterback, and we're just talking about everyone here. It's like you are serving the starter, you are serving the quarterback coach, you are serving the offensive coordinator, offensive head coaches, you are serving like everything, and you're sort of the conduit and the trust factor between the starting quarterback, who doesn't want to talk to literally anyone, and everyone else. So like I remember like with Breeze or Herbert, like he's like everyone would come to me because like they know I'm tight with them, because that's how any starting quarterback and backup quarterback is.
You're Tom
and be like,
Hagen.
hey, there you go.
Consigliere.
Yes. And like, hey, do you want to say what you want? But you had to like be the filter. Does that make sense? Like,
yes.
First of all, if the head trainer comes to me and says to say something to Justin Herbert, like respectfully, like I'm not going to say it. Like, no. Head coach might come to me. Oh, okay. Offensive coordinator. Hey, maybe. You have to be the filter of the information. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, but yeah, you just probably. I mean, at least when I was playing, no one really cared. I didn't get a lot of interviews. That's for sure.
I remember requesting one with the Bears for you, and they turned it down.
Probably didn't do it.
They turned it down.
They did. I just remember being in the locker room, and I was like, everyone loves this guy. I want to talk to him. And the PR there was like,
Faber.
Quarterback, doesn't do interviews.
Babes.
Yeah, so we could have been friends earlier in our life, but they kept us apart, Chase.
Scoop City, man.
Look where we are now. Sorry, Tom. On to another rookie quarterback in Jaxson Dart. Chase, you have loved breaking down this film throughout 3 preseason games. And we just kind of want your take first, and then Dianna will get into the nuts and bolts of what the Giants really think and feel and how we'll go about this year. But I do want to know what your thought is of a guy who goes 32 of 47 with 3 touchdowns, I believe no picks, right, in 3 games.
0 picks.
Where is he at right now in rookie quarterback development is probably the best way to ask this.
Yeah, and 1 rushing touchdown, so 4 total touchdowns in 3 games. Thought he played really well. Like, this is a decision the Giants have to make. If I'm the Giants, I'm probably not starting him right away. I'm probably rolling with Russell for a little bit because we've talked about the schedule gauntlet. But this dude could come out and be the starter week 1, and I would feel really good about where he's at in his development. You have to get experience by actually playing real football games. You can't get experience by practicing. Experience in the preseason game, sure, it's nice, but it ain't the real thing when there's 75,000 screaming fans and you're at the Commander Stadium, or maybe 90, whatever it is, and you are facing a 3rd down and you just threw an interception and you got to go back out there and coach calls all go the very next play of the next series and you're scared to pull the trigger because you don't know what to expect. No, like, you have to be able to do that. And when I watch him play, like the first preseason game to the 3rd preseason game, I've seen extreme growth in him, not only on where to go with the football post-snap, but also his pre-snap mechanics, how much calmer he's been at the line, handling certain situations, handling 2-minute drives, and Dayball threw a lot at him, right? Turning the headset off on him, like all this stuff. It was different tests, and I would say he's passing with an A+. Like, you can't tell me you watch Jaxson Dart's film right now, and I don't care if it's the preseason, and tell me this dude cannot start week 1. Now, they have Russell. They paid him some money. I would not be surprised if they go to him sooner rather than later if they're not winning.
But you also have Jameis Winston on the roster.
Eat the W. The 3 amigos.
By the way, how funny.
Tommy DeVito.
How about Assistant General Manager Brandon Brown, though, when he was asked recently about Jameis? He came out pretty strong on it. He said, I appreciate that people are interested, but Jameis is a New York Giant. He made it very intentional, the fact that
I find that interesting.
Wants Jameis
got a good
to be there,
room.
right? And for the long haul. Because then the thought process for the Giants is perhaps maybe you have Jameis as the backup for next year for Dart, right? But look, this is the time of year where all phone lines are ringing, right? And everyone's snooping around to see who's available. I'm interested to see what the Giants do, though. I'm interested if they're really locked in on keeping all of them. If you're telling me if the Saints don't call, imagine Jameis going back there.
With
you know,
Kellen,
like
that'd be
the
great.
Raiders right now could use a veteran quarterback. You
Yeah,
know,
but I don't think Jameis would want to go backup to backup, right? Like, if he's going somewhere, I mean, I guess he doesn't really have the choice, but if he's going somewhere, he'd want to be, like, really the Saints is the only thing I can, right?
I just want to know how that man can find a lens. I mean, he can find the camera faster than anyone I've ever met.
He's going to have a great broadcasting career when he's done.
He is an exhausting human being, and I say that in the best regard. Like,
Yeah, I think you should be the first guy that molds the two together. I think you should be a broadcaster while still an active player on the sideline. Find a way to get Jameis commentary while he's still on the Giants. Dianna, do you think there's a way, because in my head I'm looking at it going, if they do make a decision at some point, which my understanding is the leash is probably shorter on Russell Wilson than it was before training camp started. I think that's probably a pretty fair assessment. If they end up making a switch at some point to Jaxson Dart, does Jameis have the operation as the one who's helping Jaxson when he slides into the starter role?
Chase,
and not
you're not
Russell
gonna
Wilson
like
after
this,
he's
but
demoted.
Chase, I sent some of your stuff to people with the Giants just to get their vibe on some of the
What
stuff we were
stuff?
talking about.
What stuff?
Just all your Jaxson Dart stuff.
Oh.
They love it, by the way. Just good stuff. Your breakdowns are popular in quarterback rooms.
Hey, look at you, still in the quarterback room.
Always
Just virtually
there.
now.
Once.
Just virtually now.
Here's
I'll turn
what I
to
can tell you,
consultant.
and I'm not trying to.
So what are they saying?
I'm not pouring water on it. I'm just telling you what I get told. It's just the preseason. Yes. Can he handle the moment? Are they surprised by it? No, but they've been impressed by it. So I think I don't think this is Jaxson Dart.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. Surprised by it? No. Impressed by it? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
So I think you're on to something, and I do think there's potential. I just think this is Russell Wilson's job, and they're going to try to play this out as long as possible as they continue to.
Do you
What?
think, quite possibly, Diana, that these people could be saying that because if you look at their first 8 games, there's 6 playoff teams, and they have the toughest schedule in the entire NFL?
I think that everyone always tells me the truth. So, no. If you're listening
You're
to
so
this,
gullible sometimes.
if you're listening to this and you're not watching, I am obviously kidding because everybody lies
Yeah.
all the damn time in this league.
Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, like, look, you guys know I live in this area. Like, the vibe around the Giants is so good, considering where we were 5 months ago, right? Just
I saw something that they scored 107 points in preseason in 3 games, and then last year they scored 257 in 17 games. So I'm like, oh, that's nice.
yeah, there's
enough.
definitely. I'm feeling way more optimism about the New York Giants here in the New York area than the New York Jets, but you know, we will see. So I think really to get to your, I know what you're trying to find out. You're straight up saying like, are we seeing Jaxson Dart by Halloween? Is what you want to know.
Hell
Well,
yeah,
listen,
we are.
what I think the situation in this
I'll
is,
put money on it, dude.
but Chase,
Wait,
if we
this
see
is the
him,
second bet.
Halloween?
Okay, so far
Sorry,
the show,
James. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
For our
I'll
Scoop
get to
City
it.
residents, just keep track for us. Chase says Micah Parsons is in a Dallas Cowboy uniform in Philadelphia on Thursday Night Football, and Jaxson Dart is in a New York Giants uniform starting for the Big Blue by Halloween.
That's what week is that? That's like week 9?
No, this is not bad. I'm loving these. I just
no, I think it's good. What I'm
Not.
thinking is, if Jaxson Dart is playing Chase, what does that mean for the season? what does that mean where the Giants are at that
Great
point
question.
in their season, right? Because if they're winning games, they're going to keep playing Russell Wilson.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
And if that's the way it continues. But I also think, Dianna, I do think everybody tells you the truth. But I'm also looking at what has transpired throughout the course of camp, which is, and Chase, again, Dianna and I don't know if you know this, have not gone through an NFL training camp. So we're going to kind of bow to you on this and go, do you, in the second preseason game, just throw Jaxson Dart in just for a rep without telling him, if you're not preparing him and have the mindset that he can possibly play games for you this season, if you're going, I want to test that situation. If you're going to turn the headset off, even in training camp practices, my opinion, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, you don't do that unless you're trying to prepare him for game situations, and he has already picked up enough that you can get to this level of trial with him in a training camp practice. Because if he wasn't, up to snuff on everything, you wouldn't even waste your time doing it. So to me, all these things check a variety of boxes that Daboll's trying to check, going, I just want to make sure he can do all of these things because I'm seeing some things that show me he's ready to hit the field in his rookie season if our season goes that way.
Chase,
I love
I
that.
had a GM say this morning to me that's not in New York. Jaxson Dart should start week 1.
Yeah. Come on now.
Like,
It's a GM in the NFC East.
I'm going to go back to what
Scared of
Dianna
the
said.
Giants because they're scared of him.
after Howie traded 40 people last night,
Yeah, unbelievable.
he gave me a call. Was like, you know what the Giants should do? They should start Jaxson Dart.
Let me just run another team.
I think that's smart, and I'm going to go back to what Dianna said about what the Giants were saying. Surprised, no. Impressed, yes. Okay, so you're not surprised, so you draft him because you knew what he was going to do.
Put the work in,
Impressed already, yes. And I do think everything that a team, not just the Giants, everything that a team does that drafts a rookie quarterback in the first round, usually they play by week 3 the last 5 years. That's like the average time. Week 3 is like they're starting. You constantly and continually test him. There's different test points, right? Like training camp, OTAs, preseason practice, all sorts of stuff. And he's passed those with flying colors. And I think that if the season, to go back to what you asked earlier, the season, if they're playing Jaxson Dart, it probably hasn't gone the right way. But I do think that, and I've said this before, and I said this literally the day after he got drafted to the Giants, the way for Brian Daboll to keep his job in a losing season is to show some hope and growth with Jaxson Dart and what this team could be. Because the defensively, they're going to be really good. Like they're going to be good. Like I really do think that. Now offensively, like Malik Neighbors, like to me, like legit. Can you have a guy like Jaxson Dart if he plays the last 6 to 7 games of the year and they go 5-2 or 4-3 down the stretch? Like that's hope. You could sell hope to an owner, and you can sell a plan to an owner where if you play Russell the whole year and you win 9 games, you don't make the playoffs. Like, is he going to be? I don't know. Like, I don't know.
It's going to be a big decision on Brian Daboll. And speaking of him, we've talked about all these different things that the Giants are putting Jaxson Dart through. Here's the big man himself talking about what he's doing with his rookie quarterback.
Hey, Ryan, just wonder what was going on with the communications with Jaxson on the first drive. It seemed like he couldn't hear the play calls, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, we got a play into him. That was the 60-yarder we yelled from the sideline. So he did a nice job of handling that and, turned a play in that, probably wasn't even on the opening part of the script. Not probably wasn't on the opening part of the script. And adjusting and making a good play.
He literally yelled from the sideline what play to run, like from the wristband?
Yeah, yelled a word to him. Yep.
Chase, you're so right. He's dying to
loving
smile. And he's like, if
He's
I
trying to smile.
smile, the New York
trying to
Post
smile.
back page tomorrow is going to be bright light, big city, Jaxson Dart, Daboll nails it, like whatever. Gosh, don't ever let me write a headline, but
That's a great headline.
You're like Michael Scott, like a 98-word headline on a newspaper.
there's a Walgreens right next to where I work out, and I will just walk in there to just pick up the back of the Post just to see what the headline is. I love it. They're so good, those headliners.
You're so New York.
Sorry. You hate New York.
I don't like New York.
Look, I think
New York.
to wrap it up, I think there's
Yes.
reason to be optimistic and enthusiastic. It's just going to be a matter of when. I wrote down that key date for us. So we will be circling back around Halloween. Can't wait.
Maybe the starting quarterback of the New York Football Giants will be dressed as Jaxson Dart.
What will, James, what will the headline be?
What are we going to say? I'll say
Bullseye.
it when we come back.
Dart. Bullseye.
It's too easy. They're more creative than that, aren't they?
Nope.
I'm going to give you one after the break. Coming right back at you. Welcome back to Scoop City. James Palmer. Dianna calls me the mayor. I'm still not comfortable with that yet. Chase Daniel, Dianna Russini, senior NFL insider for The Athletic. All of us here, full house on a Monday. We wanted to wrap up kind of our summer as training camp is over and just kind of talk real quick about how our summers went and how everything went before our lives come to a crashing halt with the start of the NFL season. Chase, you just ran, and we saw some. I mean, I didn't like that you made it public. I'm just to say this. I feel very privileged on a group text when I get to see all of your numbers on your 5K, and I go, wow, man, this is great, man. Like, I'm really getting I'm getting Chase trusts me. There's no way I would tell anybody these numbers that Chase had on his 5K. And then I see them up on social media, and I go, okay, not that special anymore. We're proud of you here, man. Let's hear about this 5K that we decided to do, like that you decided to just like run for fun, which is fascinating.
Yeah, I know. It was literally like we went to a lake, and it was my son and daughter riding around, and my daughter, like my wife made a sign to put on front of my daughter's bike. Let's go, Dad, run fast. So it wasn't like anything like crazy, but it was so cute when I saw that. And I don't know, I've always hated running. Like I sort of still do. But I've understood like I really like the way it makes me feel after. So long story short though, after playing, this will be my third full year not playing. And I don't want to say I let myself go, but I hadn't really worked out a bunch, like, and been on a program, because for 25 years of my life, it was just like, here's structure, here's this, here's that, here's that. And I would find 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. And it was more so the discipline of it. I was just like, I don't want to be disciplined. And all of a sudden, like 10 weeks ago, we were in Estes Park, Colorado, and on vacation. And I was just like, you know what? Beautiful. Like, it is beautiful. Stanley Hotel, excellent. Spooky.
What movie was shot there, Chase? What movie was shot at the Stanley Hotel?
The Shining, right?
No, he wrote The Shining while he was there. Do you know what movie was shot at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park?
Wait, I do, but I'm forgetting.
I'm going to give you the scene, okay? Hold on. I took drama in high school. Here we go.
Actor.
The actor is leaving the bar area. He stops. He double takes. No way. We landed on the moon. We landed on the moon. Yes, Dumb and Dumber. That's scene actually was true. Shot at the Stanley Hotel. I've taken my picture next to that
They
spot.
told us, I mean, everyone thought it was Aspen, but they told us, they're like, oh, actually Dumb and Dumber. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're there and on vacation,
Insane.
and I was, insane. I was just like, hey, you know what? I want to do something like to push myself. So I was like, hey, all right, let's just look up some stuff. There's literally a program called Couch to 5K. Ooh. And it's a 10-week program. It's literally called Couch to 5K. It's like I didn't realize it was so popular. And now that I post about it, everyone's like, oh, I heard it. And literally, it's like you're running Monday, Wednesday, Friday, lifting Tuesday, Thursday, and it's a 10-week program. So for me to like actually follow through and not miss a day of the runs, like 3 days a week, the first day was like run 30 seconds, walk 2 minutes 10 times. Run 30 seconds, walk 2 minutes. And then it would like eventually like work its way up, like run 3 minutes, walk 3 minutes. Like each week had increments. Okay. And this last 2 weeks, it was like run 25 minutes, run 25 minutes, run 25 minutes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then this whole week, I ran 4 times actually. I'm smoked. It was like run 30 minutes on Monday, run 30 minutes on Wednesday, run 30 minutes on Friday, run a 5K on Sunday. So I'm like, well, I need somewhere flat. And I'd been doing all this on my Peloton. So I was like, I want to go outside. I want to run around a lake. And so I quick Google search, and yeah, man, I ran it. And I like can't believe that if you know anything about me, like I hate running, but I think it's just like help the discipline and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of creatine, a lot of electrolytes, a lot of Hokas, Hoka shoes, and I am feeling it today. Quads, shins, calves.
It
like
sounds
everything.
awful. It sounds.
It sort of was when I was running it. Like my heart rate got up to 174, which I'm 37.
Which everyone knows now. I thought
my max heart rate is like 189. So like I was almost at max. I was like, in and out. Like it was bad, but it was. I did it. We did it. Yeah, we did it.
I feel like I need to then, or at least think about running a 5K to see if I can beat you, because.
Scoop City 5K.
Yeah, my time was awful. Like it wasn't about the time.
See your
it was just the
time.
fact
Do you
that we
remember
did
what it
it.
was roughly?
I averaged 9:50 a mile,
Whole
which
world
is
has seen
not.
this time.
That's not great.
Yeah.
That's not great at all.
Good.
Like,
but that's
I'm
okay.
also 240 pounds, so I'm like, there's a lot of weight.
Lot of
Knees
muscle.
don't feel great.
A lot of muscle based on what I saw in Denver. A lot of muscle. I could use some of your motivation after being absolutely deflated over the weekend. I have one of those like parent nightmares where I think any parent that has children, I think you may be able to relate to this. Whether your kid has a blankie, a stuffy, most kids have their little thing. My one son has his doggy, and we used to have Monkey, but we don't know where Monkey went, and that was a disaster. But I lost Doggy, and
wait, you lost Doggy? You personally lost Doggy?
Yeah, I actually had this thought yesterday.
That you subconsciously lost Doggy on purpose?
That I'm a horrible mom, but I was thinking, like, is there a story out there that I'd be willing to give up to find Doggy right now?
It's like that.
Oh,
I think it's like every story. Like, I don't even think there's just one.
Is that big of a deal?
Because it's, guys, the meltdown that comes with it that you're about to have. And I never informed him that Doggy was gone.
Out of sight,
but
out of mind.
we did a little backtracking, and
man.
I got lucky.
So he didn't even know?
No. Well, my husband mentioned it. He was like, "Hey, have you seen Doggy?" I was like, they're always around. You always find them somewhere." And then something just didn't feel right, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna go look in the car." And then when he wasn't in the car, I realized he definitely fell out, because this is like the second or third time in the last month where something I own has fallen out of my car, and I have gone back and found it in the parking
spot. Are you a messy
spot.
car person, or is your car
I
super
actually
clean?
have a neat car. I am just a little bit of a hurricane. So like the other day, my wallet was in a parking lot spot for 3 hours. Wallet with money, license, credit card. I backtracked. I went back. I'm like, there she is. She was just sitting there. Well,
you might have to change your ways, though. Like, this track record of going back and finding things is valuable as a wallet. It's not
correct.
It's
going to run out. It's going to run out.
Okay.
Someone's going to take Doggy. Someone's going to take my wallet. Someone's going to take my head. Whatever I left behind. So I went back and I found it in a parking lot of a place that we had lunch in, and there he was.
That's wild.
His neck all squished.
Good for you.
Because someone ran him over.
My wife's good at that. She can backtrack and find
Weathered.
anything. I'm like,
Weathered.
what?
I
would have
put
just
St. Anthony. Like
I
I have all the tricks of just please help me find this thing. The feeling of having anything lost, a phone, a wallet, a child, all frightening.
Hopefully, not in that order is your fear factor. But I would put child at the top, Dianna. I feel like Chase is a bit like Meet the Parents, where he would have like gotten a new Doggy, kind of beat him up a little bit, painted Jinx's tail, to make sure that it just looks like the old Doggy, and just substitute it as best he can.
But they know. Why is that? How do they
know
know that? Because we do have another one, and he can smell it. He's like, no. I'm like, oh, it has to smell like wet dew for you to like them. But these kids know.
They know. They know. Listen, we don't have time for me to break down my summer. I'll just say I had a great trip to Japan. How about this?
You win.
I thought of my my headline. What'll be on the back page? Yep. Ready?
And?
It's going to say this. Time to take Jaxson, Sierra you later.
Oh.
How's that?
Oh, that's funny.
Does that make it work?
Sierra you later.
Yeah. You can give that to her in the carpool line, Chase.
Hey. No, she might not talk to me.
She might not want that piece of paper. No. Anyways, we'll see what Russ does. I enjoyed this Monday, everyone. I did. We got one hold-in completed. Terry McLaurin, deal. 2 more to go. Dianna, you get on it. Chase, do you have any closing words for us here as we finish this Monday on Scoop City?
Free the stuffies.
Free the stuffies. And Chase,
I thought
you're
you had
working out a lot because you've had a little bit of free time, but
yeah.
I'm hearing your time is now going to be limited.
Yeah. Oh, we're doing this. Oh, yeah. All right. Yes.
Thanks, Diana, for following up. That's what we do as reporters. If somebody with the first question doesn't get it,
I forgot.
Other reporters come and follow up to see if they can get it out of the athlete.
This
Nice
is
work.
good.
It's
Yep.
like the way we
nice
used to work,
follow
Diana.
up.
Yep.
Yep. Some people close to me know. Most people close to me know. But yeah, I won't be as free anymore. We're going to announce it today. Scoop City's the first people to hear it. I think we're going to put it out later today or maybe tomorrow morning. But I'm going to be joining ESPN.
Let's go.
Diana's former place of work. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it for a couple things. One, we got fired from the facility in Fox, like straight up just like canned. And to have a job this soon is a blessing. So I'm really thankful and grateful for that. Number two is I will be calling college football games. So I'll be the color commentator on some college football games. First game is Pitt versus Duquesne, literally in a week. So literally right after this, I'm going to start studying. I'll be calling 14 to 15 of those. I'll be calling 2 UFL games for ESPN, and then I will also be, which I think is one of the coolest things as well, not only calling games, but I'll be an NFL analyst on some studio shows. So NFL Live is one of them. So I'm super excited about this opportunity, and yeah, really excited to dive in.
You should be. It's so deserving. You work so
Well
hard
earned.
at this. You're so good at it.
Thank
We'll
you
be
so
watching you, rooting you on. I love the fact that you're doing both college and pro because
Yeah.
you obviously have so much experience in both. And I do think that you have such a great view of it all. And your perspective is always so valuable to people. I learn something every single day. So the rest of the world gets to continue to learn from you, Chase. So we can't wait. And hopefully you'll share some stories with us behind the scenes because I know it's always drama filled.
And like I remember when I called my first game, Diana, you put out a tweet like he's gonna kill it. Watch. So you were like one of the first ones when I called because I called 2 UFL games last year for Fox, and you would watch and you would put out a tweet. So I'm like, oh, I'm really grateful for that support.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Some people just got it.
Yeah.
Some of us got to work hard. Some of
We're
us
still-
just have the skill.
we're
Jace,
still
you've got
trying,
the skill.
Diana. Chase
But you
has the
also
skill.
work hard too.
I do work
So
hard.
congratulations to you and
Thank
Hillary
you.
and the kids and everybody. It's going to be great.
Yeah, congratulations, buddy. And I will just selfishly just say, Dinah, this means more draft intel for Scoop
will
City
be a lot.
for you and I.
This, James, this
when the
is
season
why.
ends. That's how I'm looking at it.
course,
of
Chase is going to be
course.
getting that draft intel. Congratulations,
Glad we
man. Make sure
Thank
everybody
you.
watches Chase and everything he's doing over there at ESPN, but don't, just do it around your viewing of Scoop City.
Yeah, we'll
it
still
easy.
be on here every Monday, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks for watching Scoop City. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. New episodes of Scoop City drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.